Our first episode of Ghosts and Legends takes a look at a bizarre tale of incest, murder, and the paranormal. Our story begins in 1905 when Charles Dudgeon purchased 1,280 acres of land just outside of White Cloud, Michigan, and moved his family from the nearby town of Holton. Charles and his wife Alice had 5 children: Lee, Wilmer, Herman, Lola, and Meady. An attempt at a fresh start was soured almost immediately, with resentment in the community who previously used the Dudgeon land to graze their cattle. In anger, they began calling it the Dudgeon Swamp. The fighting escalated, resulting in a fight with neighbor Jake Terwilliger, where he took a severe beating. The men of the Dudgeon family served 90 days in the White Cloud jail for assault. More fights continued with other neighbors and led to more jail time. In 1920, the Dudgeons were contacted by a stumper by the name of Romy Doc Hodel to purchase some cedar posts from their land. Common profession at the time, stumpers were paid to remove tree stumps in farmers' fields. It was at this time that he met Meady Dudgeon. The two were married shortly after. Around the same time, Meady had given birth to 2 babies, fathered through incest by her brothers. They were taken to the Dudgeon Barn and clubbed to death before being buried there. Meady moved out with Romy to their own house, but was not a happy marriage. Romy was jealous of another man, Carl Sailors, who would spend time with Meady. In the winter of 1922, Romy's father visited them. He died soon thereafter. His death was ruled as apoplexy, which is a result of cerebral hemorrhaging. That spring saw the death of Romy. Found in the Terwilliger's barn hanging from a noose, his death was originally ruled a suicide. The autopsy, however, concluded he died from a blow to the back of his head. A mob formed and threatened to lynch Lee and Herman Dudgeon if they did not confess. They did. However, once taken into police custody for questioning, their story changed. It was Meady. When Meady was arrested, she not only confessed to her husband's murder, but that of his father's with the help of her own mother, Alice Dudgeon. The two confessed that they had seen ghosts since the murders. During the trial, David Hodel's body was exhumed and it was found that he had ingested poison. Meady was convicted of first-degree murder. Her mother was found guilty of first-degree murder of Romy Doc Hodel. It was claimed that Meady put strychnine in her husband's coffee. When that didn't kill him quick enough, her and Alice Dudgeon took a rolling pin and clubbed him. Next, she instructed her sons, Lee and Herman, to hang him in the Terwilliger barn, while she and Meady wrote suicide notes for him. In a retrial for Alice, it was found that 3 police officers had put on bed sheets pretending to be ghosts, thus scaring her into a confession. It may seem laughable to us now, but in the 1920s this was enough, and Alice was freed. Until her death, Alice petitioned for Meady's release as well, but it was not granted for 27 years. She died just a few years later after her release. Since the murders, the citizens of White Cloud largely refuse to visit the property. Those that do report apparitions, glowing eyes, car troubles, and nooses in trees. Is this simply a case of real events becoming molded into legend, or is there actually something more in Dudgeon Swamp? Join us as we attempt to uncover the truth. Our first stop is the Goodwell Cemetery, where not only are the Dudgeons buried, but their victim Doc Hodel. After searching about the entire cemetery, we finally found the graves. This is where Charles Dudgeon and Doc Hodel lay. Neither Alice nor Meady are buried in this cemetery. Next, we traveled to the Dudgeon Swamp itself. Being that the area is nearly uninhabited, cell reception was 0 and the GPS wouldn't work. Taking these back roads to get there shows you just how isolated and lonely this area can really be. Many of these are seasonal roads and are not well maintained. We hope that the numerous stories of cars getting stuck back here wouldn't prove true for us as well.
This road is
at it. It's barely even been traveled on.
Yeah, this is old. It's alright, we got about half a mile through Cottonwood.
Finally, we made it. First up was the location of the Terwilliger House, which is on private property of the only house here. No going up there. Just past the property is the location of the lynching tree, where Lee and Herman were threatened with death if they did not confess. The tree was removed as well, but somewhere right around here is where the mob was formed and the men were strung up. Marching through these woods, we crossed farther down to where the Terwilliger Barn was, and where Doc Waddell's body was found hanging. Yeah, but did you hear something that's right over there? Mm-hmm. Oh, careful, that's all water.
That is?
Doesn't that look watery?
Oh.
Or muddy? Oh! Jimmy. There's a hunting barn. One thing we didn't expect to find was this hunter's blind. I don't want to try that door. I don't want to try that door.
Does it have a keyhole?
It does.
Yeah, they'd probably keep it locked.
Not the most ominous thing ever. Originally, the swamp was called Big Bear Swamp, and the Dudgeons reported seeing several bears in the area. Nowadays, cougars are mentioned as living in these woods, so we had to be careful. That's a dog.
Okay, it's just machinery or something.
Next, we headed back to the seasonal road into the Dudgeon property. To the right is where Dudgeon School was, but besides Alice breaking someone's ribs there, nothing much happened, so we head further into the woods. Yeah, I can see you. You can see how absolutely empty this area is by the complete lack of light. Straight ahead. That's where, yeah, the barn. Where the babies are found.
So the Dudgeon House is down here, right?
It's over here. We are now at the site of the Dudgeon Barn, where Meady's two babies from Incest were bludgeoned and buried. Locals warned to never stray from the road, but here we are. There's a nice log right there, I think. This is our first EVP at the site where the babies were found. You want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. This is your baby. No pun intended.
Is there anyone here with us tonight? I don't know what to ask. This is the first EVP either of us have had really ever tried to do, so we didn't really know what to say, but that doesn't mean that someone wasn't willing to respond.
If there is anyone around us, is there a way you can make your presence known? By moving something or making a noise?
If you listen, you will hear a sort of knocking noise. Could this be someone's response? Is any of the Dudgeon family here? Is there anything you want to say? I don't really know what to ask.
Can you give us your name?
Our last stop is the Dudgeon House itself.
Let's watch it. That's cool.
Like now, if we were to find multiple of those, I feel like we would know that's where it is. But just one, not too sure. Here's some more stones, actually, yeah. So this could be close to the area. Yeah, here's more. There's another. Yeah, look at it, drops right off there, too.
Finding numerous stones, we believed we had found the site. Time for our second EVP.
We are now at the Dudgeon House location, conducting our second EVP. Is there anyone here with us right now?
This time the clicking continues, but as it goes on, timing seems off in response to these questions.
Are any of you the Dudgeons that had lived here? Is Romy here with us? If there's anybody here, can you make your presence known? Can you make a noise, knock on a tree, or something? Are you upset that we are here? Would you be upset if I were to buy your land here, or some down the road, as others have that any of the Dudgeons have murdered?
It could simply be a bug hitting the camera or anything like that, but listen to it when we finish up our EVP.
Ender?
That concluded our spots to visit, but Dudgeon Swamp wasn't finished with us yet. First, we heard a very large branch snap on the side of the woods we were just in.
Branches snap and stuff like that, more noise.
Like a large branch?
Not huge, but still noticeable. Or it could have been like walking.
And then we found this.
So here's a salt circle. I just tasted it. It's gross. That's definitely salt. That's salt.
That's salt?
That's salt, yeah. So apparently what? You said an evil spirit can't pass through when
A circle of salt is used in witchcraft as a barrier of protection or to contain energy, forming a sacred circle inside. Located right at the start of the road, neither of us noticed this on the way in.